sunshine again. All you gotta do is look my way. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you're standing at the bottom, I'll reach out for you. If you need someone to lean on, baby, I can be strong. I will carry you through. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. Everybody needs something to believe. If you want, you can always put your faith in me. I don't know it all, but I know how it feels to fall. With a helping hand, you'll find your feet. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you're standing at the bottom, I'll reach out for you. If you need someone to lean on, baby, I can be strong. I will carry you through. If you got a problem, I got a problem too. If you got a problem, I got a problem too.
Welcome. Come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. We welcome the certain and the seeking, the long-timers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home here at Throop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the heart of our homes. Good morning to our friends joining us on live stream. This morning, we are honored to welcome Reverend Dr. Megan Visser. Reverend Dr. Megan is a chaplain researcher at Children's Hospital Los Angeles and our community minister in affiliation. She conducts research searching for ways to support marginalized youth with chronic illness like diabetes and their families. She lives in Eagle Rock with her wife Stephanie, 10-month-old baby Wave, and 2 cats, Maui and Salem. She just started a public ministry on Substack and invites you to follow along if you wish. It's megv.phd. Some brief announcements this morning. Our stained glass window will be lovingly reinstalled by Judson Studios on Tuesday, July 28th. Yes. And the work on the floors of our beautiful sanctuary will start on August 3rd. Please be on the lookout for opportunities to help our sanctuary ready for the carpet removal and refurnishing of our floors. This work would not be possible without our amazing donors and Board of Trustees. After the service, if you're interested in learning more about Throop or becoming a member, our greeters will be in the back of the sanctuary to answer your questions and invite you to join us for coffee hour. Each one of us is a light in the world. The flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light.
Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with a flame from our candles of hope and witness. And this week, our chalice lighting words come from Craig Rowland. May this light remind us, connection begins not with the flawless gesture, but with the honest one. And even the smallest act of bravery can be the start of a shared path. We light a second candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop is the unceded land of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indian people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into dismantling systems of supremacies and oppressions. We light a third candle, symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. And we take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts. And now if you'll rise as your body and spirit allow for our opening hymn.
Congregation, we're going to teach this one to you, but I think you might know it. Would you repeat after me and sing? You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Put one foot in front of the other
And lead with, that's it. You gotta put
one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. I'm not alone. Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put
One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
You gotta
Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Lift up your eyes.
Lift up your eyes.
Don't you despair.
Don't you despair.
Look up ahead.
Look up ahead.
The path is there.
The path is there. You gotta put
One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
And now we have a moment to greet each other. Please say hello to your neighbors.
Mr. Rogers would say, would you like to meet my neighbor? He's gonna want your death. Tipsy.
One of the mics is like crackling, but I don't know which one's crackling because I can hear it during the bass when
give up hope.
Don't give up hope.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
Don't you give up.
Don't you give up.
Keep moving on.
Keep moving on.
You gotta put
One foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love.
You gotta put
One foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with
and
love.
lead.
And lead with love.
One more time.
And lead with love.
As we continue to see record-breaking temperatures and extreme weather here and around the world, let us reaffirm our commitment to love and support our struggling Earth by saying together our promise to the planet, which is in the order of service. As members of family beings on Earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. With hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect Earth's sacred and abundant gifts, we promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. Wisdom from our Unitarian Universalist tradition this morning. Changes abound around us, within us, between us, in our communities, our neighborhoods, and our beloved faith communities. Changes abound. May we each find the balance point we need as we move through our ever-changing world, the balance between the old and the new, between the known and the unknown, between the familiar and the perhaps bold and risky possibilities that may be there, waiting. And that was by Michelle Collins.
An excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants by Robin Wall Kammerer. At the height of the summer, when the days are long and bright, and the thunders come to soak the ground, the lessons of reciprocity are written clearly in a Three Sisters garden. Together their stems inscribe what looks to me like a blueprint for the world, a map of balance and harmony. The corn stands 8 feet tall. Rippling green ribbons of leaf curl away from the stem in every direction to catch the sun. No leaf sits directly over the next, so that each can gather light without shading the others. The bean twines around the cornstalk, weaving itself between the leaves of corn, never interfering with their work. In the spaces where corn leaves are not, buds appearing on the vine bean and expand into outstretched leaves and clusters of fragrant flowers. The bean leaves droop and are held close to the stem of the corn. Spread around the feet of the corn and beans is a carpet of big, broad squash leaves that intercept the light that falls among the pillars of corn. Their layered spacing uses the light, a gift from the sun, efficiently, with no waste. The organic symmetry of forms belongs together. The placement of every leaf, the harmony of shapes speak their message. Respect one another. Support one another. Bring your gift to the world and receive the gift of others, and there will be enough for all.
The wind of change forever blown across the tumult of our way. Tomorrow's unborn griefs depose the sorrows of our yesterday. Dream yields to dream, strife follows strife, and death unweaves the web of life. For us the labor and the heat, the broken secrets of our pride, the strenuous lessons of defeat, the flower deferred, the fruit denied, but not the peace supremely won, great Buddha of the lotus throne. With futile hands we seek to gain our inaccessible desire, diviner summits to attain, with faith that sinks and feet that tire, but naught shall conquer or control the heavenward hunger of our soul. Me and elusive and afar still lures us with its beckoning flight, and our immortal moments are a session of the infinite. How shall we reach the great unknown nirvana of your lotus throne?
This church is our church. We support it through our gifts of time, our gifts of talent, and our gifts of treasure. We pause each week in worship for a moment of financial generosity and ask you to make a donation to Throop. You can give online, the directions are in the order of worship, or place your gift in the offering plate. If you are a first-time visitor, please let the offering plate pass you by. Thank you for supporting our life together. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Revisa tu corazón para hallar el amor en un rincón, pero busca el amor, ni placer ni pasión, el amor. Lo que hacia el otro bien, busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, en ti. Seek out the love in you and find the joy that comes to those who care. Seek out the love in you. It only grows whenever it is shared. Seek out the love in you and find the joy that comes to those who care. Seek out the love in you. It only grows whenever it is shared. Seek out the love in you, in you. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, se multiplica si lo repartís. Busca el amor en ti, solo que ama puede ser feliz. Busca el amor en ti, en ti.
For the gratitude for the gifts we share, if you'll say this with me, it's in your order of worship. In a spirit of gratitude, we lift up our thanks to those supporting our worship service today, our live stream operator. One second. Our live stream operator, Ripley, our lay reader, Rachel, Faith with the Children's Program, our greeters and ushers, which was Sean today, Tom, our coffee and conversation host, Malcolm in the choir for their music, and Jessica for the administrative support, and Rev Megan for sharing their wisdom with us today. As we pause in recognition for all the ways we support our Throop community life, say with me the words in your order of service. With the gratitude for the ministries of the church that hold us and embolden us to love the world, we bless our offering and the many gifts we share.
Please remain seated and sing with us. When Will the Fighting Cease? Number 1025 in your teal hymnal.
When will the fighting cease? When will we live in peace? When our love breaks boundaries? When will the fighting cease? When will we live in peace? When our love breaks boundaries? When will the fighting cease? When will we live in peace? When our love breaks boundaries? When will the fighting cease? When will we live in peace? When our love breaks boundaries?
Invite you to notice your body's response to the song. Don't try to change it, just notice. You may notice maybe one foot is in front of the other. Maybe you are tipped ever so slightly to one hip than the other. Notice where the places where your body is not neutral. Finding our internal center does not always mean finding a neutral position. Our prayer this morning is by Bethina Leonard. Love is not neutral. Love takes sides with the harmed, the hunted, the unheard. and always at the center, not naive, not passive. Love that stays, love that resists, love that refuses to become what it is fighting. In a time when the country feels like it is attacking its own body, we choose to be the immune response, not destroying, but healing. This is how we carry anger without becoming it. This is how we honor grief without drowning. This is how we journey through despair and still extend our hands. Love not as a feeling, but as a practice. Love still. Love still. Let's listen together and sing together. Number 1016 in your Singing the Journey teal hymnal, Profetesa Pueblo Mío.
Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz sea el eco, el clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, anunciándole a los pobres una nueva sociedad. I sanctify you, prophet, banish all doubt and fear. Be faithful to your mission, the quest that leads us on. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz sea el eco del clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, anunciándole a los pobres una nueva sociedad. Announce to all the people that justice promised long, restored through every nation, true peace throughout the world. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz sea el eco del clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, anunciándole a los pobres una nueva sociedad. Profetiza, profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, que tu voz sea el eco del clamor de los pueblos en opresión. Profetiza, pueblo mío, profetiza una vez más, anunciando a los pobres una nueva sociedad.
There is a lie we have grappled with as a society, one we've been told and told ourselves and told each other, that love is neutral, that there is a place to stand outside of history, outside of consequence, where our hands stay clean because we never reached for anything. I want to tell you, maybe you already know, somewhere in your body, somewhere in our singing together, that it was never real. And the sooner we stop pretending it, the sooner we can start doing the actual work of love. Early last month, I attended the 86th scientific sessions of the American Diabetes Association in New Orleans. In the backdrop of the conference, as well as in the backdrop of this week, were the death rattles of capitalism as cuts to funding for public services, healthcare, Medicaid, and the dismantling of scientific enterprise in the U.S. takes place. I'm a sociologist and chaplain working in diabetes research. My work centers on families of youth with diabetes and the ways they navigate caregiving, stress, and hope. And on this national stage, is sometimes hope is hard to find, and uncertainty about the future abounds. Back at the conference's first day, attendees filed in to hear an in-person keynote speech from an NIH, National Institutes of Health official, who supports these cuts and the direction of Make America Healthy Again in this country. Yes, there were boos. But Stephen Kahn, the editor of the ADA, the American Diabetes Association's journal, Diabetes Care is the name of that journal, he'd published an editorial opposing attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and cuts to biomedical research funding. So 5 senior diabetes scientists, including Kahn, distributed copies of this editorial outside the keynote speech in the conference center. The ADA responded by bringing police to physically remove scientists from the conference and confiscating their materials. Videos of their removal spread wildly that day online, and stickers for some of us were created. We stand with science. As another editorial by Kahn and his 2 other scientists were also published, it's called Misguided Brushes of a Pen, Continued to Dismantle and Destroy Biomedical Research in the United States. We can no longer afford complacency and fear. We must all act now. Now, I don't know about you, but doesn't that sound like it could have been in the UU Church's newsletter last week? Doesn't it seem like that's the discussion going on at the letter writing campaigns we're having in our congregations, maybe in some fireside chats? Sounds pretty familiar. The scientists who were removed said, the events during the meeting raised difficult questions about the meaning of balance itself and how disagreement should be managed within a scientific community. We believe that scientific societies are strongest when they respond to conflict with dialogue, transparency, and proportionality. I want to make sure we're catching the major details of the this situation. The ADA has a journal. They published these editorials, and the 5 people they threw out of the meeting includes past major leaders in the ADA and the editor of their journal itself. They threw out the editor-in-chief of their own journal for distributing something they already published. The ADA canceled Kahn's other events at the conference, slowing down the normal work of sharing the latest diabetes research even more. The reason eventually stated was that Kahn had violated a code of conduct and a commitment to nonpartisanship. The question left hanging over the entire incident was simple. What is the value of neutrality if you're watching the ground fall out from under the work of saving lives and calling silence on these matters a commitment to balance? So picture a pilot, a captain of a ship at sea. She cannot wait for the ocean to go calm before she takes the wheel. There's no calm. There's only the crossing and the wind that keeps changing and the currents she cannot see from where she stands. She can't calculate the perfect course from the harbor, plot it once, and follow it, as if the sea would just wait and hold still. So what does she do? She steers continually, every few minutes, a correction, guided by the things that don't move, the stars, the compass, the destination, the people she's coming home to. Always when the wind is actually blowing right now against the hull. That's what it's meant to act with love in an imperfect world. Not certainty, not purity, not the calm we keep waiting for, faithful adjustment. The theologian Reinhold Niebuhr understood something that I think some of us may have forgotten, or at least never let ourselves believe. He said, refusing to use power can be its own form of injustice. Let's sit with that. It's not just using power carelessly is unjust, or that using power without love is unjust, but refusing to use it at all, standing back, standing out above or outside the argument, letting the ship drift because steering it might mean being wrong. Niebuhr called the difference between innocence and responsibility. He said the moral task was never to remain innocent, untouched, committed, hands folded. The moral task was to accept responsibility for acting, to stay humble enough to know our judgment might be imperfect, and to act anyway. Because the alternative, that maybe beautiful, clean, imagined, neutral alternative, was never actually available. It was only way of pretending that that ship would steer itself. Now, I'm not talking about Waymo cars today. That's a whole other, I can't even get into that. There's an old teaching, something even in a different language from Niebuhr and in different tradition centuries before Niebuhr was born, from Jewish tradition. Do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. Just that, a commandment against watching and doing nothing. The rabbis who have studied this line ask what's required of us and have answered us mostly plainly. If you see your neighbor's in danger and you could act and you do not, you have transgressed. It's not talking about the person that caused the harm. There's plenty of theology with that. It means you, or it means me. It means the one who stood by. Two traditions, an ocean and a few centuries apart, arriving at this same shore. Neutrality in the presence of someone else's danger was never on the list of options for a person who truly loves. Some of you will likely see or have already seen The Odyssey this week in theaters. Homer's Odysseus on the water is a prime example. Every direction he must travel involves some kind of loss. Leadership is always navigating what's the path that will preserve the most that matters, the most that we love. There was a young man named Alec in 2017. He was 26 years old. He had type 1 diabetes, and he had aged off of his mother's insurance. His insulin cost was $1,300 a month. He made $35,000 a year. He rationed his doses. He tried to make them stretch. And he died 3 days before his paycheck would have come. In an article she wrote following her son's death, the mother said, the unofficial cause of death is slipping through the cracks of a broken system. Slipping through the cracks. As if the system were simply built with gaps in it, as if no one was ever at the wheel. As if decisions about funding, access, affordability, and advocacy were somehow made by the wind itself. Over the past year, the Trump administration, including remaining or instated members of the NIH, have eliminated or put into jeopardy the funding for the research that keeps people with diabetes alive. The ADA is probably the most powerful US-based organization in the world of that research, care, and advocacy for people with diabetes. In my short time working in the diabetes research community, I've learned a lot about the discoveries and treatments being developed over the past few years. There's a lot to be excited about, and there's a lot that needs sustained effort. Meanwhile, the need for these advances has increased, especially among marginalized youth, for whom the incidence of diabetes is increasing in both type 1 and type 2. And who doesn't care about kids? We might wonder this aloud, especially in a nonprofit organization, especially in one dedicated to health and well-being of populations. Some of my friends at the conference in New Orleans questioned whether it was still safe to bring youth with diabetes to it, especially from marginalized communities. And the quiet, insistent repression of advocacy that could dramatically affect their life might be too traumatic to witness within the organization who is said to represent them at the national stage. As a sociologist, part of what intrigues me, part of what outrages me about this incident and its aftermath is the way that neutrality is negotiated in organizations. We know that throughout history, science has never been objective. We have negative examples like the Nazi doctors, the participation of physicians in torture or capital punishment, the Tuskegee syphilis experiments. But here, in this organization, in this space, there's an opportunity for science to say what they're about, to stake a claim, something us Unitarian Universalists know something about. Over its 85-year history, the ADA hasn't been a politically neutral organization. It's advocated strongly for federal diabetes funding, insulin affordability, anti-discrimination protections, public health, patients like Alec, patients like those I meet at CHLA every day. These are all political positions, but they're also an expression of love and care. Love that will not choose a side is not real love. Real love, the kind that shows up at a bedside, the kind that fights an insurance company on hold for the 4th hour, the kind that speaks up because someone has to say so. Love that has already chosen. The organization chose love the moment it took shape, knowing that there was a reason to gather, to take action together. So when an institution tells you it must remain neutral to protect its ability to do good, ask what good is being protected and for whom, at what cost, and to whom does that cost fall? Because I promise you the cost never falls evenly. It fell on Alec, it falls on people every day whose survival depends on someone else's willingness to take the wheel and steer through that wind. We can't be fearful of falling apart, of causing a rupture, of exposing an allegiance to the people who need our support. We find this in any organization coming together for a cause. We stay mission-focused as churches because our coming together matters so deeply. And anything that matters this much has got to contain some risk. Athena's Leonard's reading from earlier explores this so richly. I've got to read you the beginning. At the center, not as softness, not as surrender, but as gravity, love. Love that bends the arc of anger so it does not break us. Love that holds grief without asking it to hurry. Love is not the enemy. Anger is not the enemy. Anger is love's alarm bell. We attune, then we choose what we build with it. Love is never neutral. In Unitarian Universalism, we have countless examples of people willing to risk being unpopular. We have defended freedom of conscience, challenged exclusion, expanded belonging, acted against injustice on local, regional, and national and the world stage. Those decisions were not neutral. They were negotiated, they were contested even, and they were acts of love. On a weekly basis across the country, we worship shoulder to shoulder with people who might have different beliefs than us. While there is a balance struck in our becoming richly diverse in experience and belief, this, the practice of love, is not the same as neutrality. I don't know what the practice of love will look like in the ADA, the organization, that I've seen and been a part of only for a couple years now. What is love as a practice is though something I have seen as a chaplain and a researcher. Love bends the arc of anger so that it does not break us. Love allows us to bring our gifts to the world and receive gifts, knowing that there is enough for all. I'm just a postdoctoral researcher still on the early side of my academic career. I don't know any of I don't know Steve Kahn or the other 4 people who were thrown out personally. I don't know what kind of personal risk or toll this is taking. I'm imagining it keeps them up at night, and perhaps it should keep more of us up at night. What I do know is that their use of their privilege is advancing this existential rupture that'll hopefully be a wake-up call to other scientific, educational, and not-for-profit entities about what silence costs. As Zora Neale Hurston famously wrote, "If you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it." UU leader Julica Erman de la Fuente calls this the holy muscle of interruption. To throw a wrench into the agenda is one of the most destabilizing things we can do. White supremacy culture may teach us to be efficient, to stay on task, to aim for perfection. The alternative is being relational. Instead of staying on task, we can pay attention to what just happened and what needs to be done in order to restore right relationship. We can center those who have been placed on the margins. This holy muscle of interruption is about courage, a commitment to love at a higher level, about liberation and wholeness. It's about being willing to risk being unpopular in the moment and taking the heat that will happen when you interrupt the process. When something happens that requires interrupting and it's ours to do, we bring the beloved community into being in that moment. That is Niebuhr in different clothes. This is the intertwining of the 3 sisters' garden. It's the rabbi's neighbor tended to instead of watched. It's what our UU practice of love looks like. Hands immersed in the water, using our leverage, adjusting again and again toward a horizon we cannot fully see. It's our values working together. I still have hope for the ADA, just as I have at church. That deep down, there is enough love and enough care to do what is right, to act together. Now you might be saying that 5 people handing out an already published editorial could not possibly rise to the level of a holy act of interruption. What could a few leaflets destabilize? Well, it is the case that when Stephen Kahn, the author of the editorial, set out to do this, he brought only 200 copies. Most of them were confiscated. He thought, if I get a few people to read this and consider it alongside the NIH officials' remarks, that would have been satisfactory. That was his small act of bravery. But in the end, hundreds of thousands saw the video of him being removed from the scientific sessions, and his flyers were then picked up online, and people are reading these editorials. It's been shared and reshared, including by members of Congress, social media influencers with diabetes, and not to mention being picked up by regular news media. As a result, many, many more people had access to the information about the systematic dismantling of medical research and the spiraling fall of healthcare innovations. A modest action led to taking more risks and more work as the circumstances required, but with increasing impact and more people willing to join in the fight. Love that will not take a side is not love. We are called to steer by the stars toward a horizon we cannot fully see, correcting as the wind changes, without apology, that we, my people, are undeniably a people dedicated to love. Will you sing with me? Let us rise and body or spirit stretch as you need to. Let us sing together the Fire of Commitment, number 1028, again in your beautiful teal hymnal.
From the light of days remembered, there's a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, then we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within. Then our promise finds fulfillment, and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic course, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment, and our future can begin.
Will you please take a hand or shoulder of someone near you? The flame from our chalice is now extinguished, but we carry this light with us. May the light from our community fill your lives with beauty, hope, compassion, and laughter.
Amen, and blessed be.